so I'm going to kick us off. So if you're here right now, obviously you are an On Point Nutrition client, so welcome. I am Zoe Fienman. I'm one of the registered dietitians at On Point Nutrition, and this is Brittany Linn. She is also a dietitian at On Point Nutrition. So we're so happy you're here, and you can take the time out of your day to join us tonight. So we created this webinar because we really wanted to give our clients new ideas when preparing quick meals and snacks for not only you and your family. I think the biggest thing that we hear from our clients is like, I don't have time. I don't have the time to make this. How can you make a dinner like so quick and so efficient? Or like, I don't even know what to put in a dinner or a lunch or whatever it is. So we're going to walk you through that today. We're going to give you tips and tricks for that. And like Brittany mentioned before, if you guys have any questions, please write it in the chat. We're going to try to address that as our webinar goes on. If not, definitely at the end. So without further ado, I'll have Brittany go to the first slide.
So nervous. Is it gonna work?
You're nervous.
It worked. Okay, good.
Okay, so this is just our agenda for tonight. So we're going to walk you through tips for easy meal and snack creations, how to prepare 5 meals in 15 minutes or less. So each meal will take about 15 minutes or less. 10 snacks in 10 minutes or less. And then we have a Q&A and a demonstration portion of the webinar for a little bit later as well. So we have 1 or 2 depending on the time, but we definitely will sneak one in there for you guys.
Yes, very exciting. And especially as we're looking at like working from home, these are going to be super handy for those of you who are just needing to get up from your desk real fast, grab something to eat. We'll give you all the scoop on that.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna start us off with some tips and tricks to make meal prepping or putting a meal together very fast, very efficient. So essentially, what we have found, I mean, Brittany, you can kind of correct me on this, but I always think that protein, starch, and veggies are the hardest for my clients to prepare for a meal. There's a lot of barriers that go with it, like the protein has to be cooked or the veggies need to be cooked or something like that. So those are the 3 we're going to focus on, but essentially you want to keep it as simple as possible here. So whenever you're making a meal, you want to try to have certain components of it so it's nice and filling. So that definitely includes protein, 1 or 2 vegetables, a starch, maybe 1 or 2 fats, whatever else you want to throw in there. So the first tip I have is to pre-cut vegetables. So I think this is one of the most time-consuming things when putting a meal together. So if you're able to, like, you could buy your vegetables already cut up in a nice package. All you have to do is open it up. If you want to cook with like onion or something, you can actually buy them already diced. And essentially you could always buy them pre-cut frozen as well. So taking them right out of the freezer, throwing them in some kind of cooking appliance, which Brittany will touch on in a little bit, just so you have them, that can save you a step. And then another huge step is making sure that your protein is already pre-cooked. So cooking the protein can take 15 or 20 minutes alone. So throughout this, we are going to reference proteins that are essentially already cooked. So rotisserie chickens, eggs, things like that. So when in doubt, we want to make sure that things are pre-cut, they're pre-cooked, or they're frozen and ready to go. So Brittany's going to walk you through how to look at this a little bit more detailed for each of the categories: starch, protein, and vegetables.
Yes. And so like Zoe said, when we're talking about the basics of a filling meal, we have our starch for energy, our protein for energy and also to keep us fuller longer, and then veggies for that added fiber and that energy and to keep us fuller longer. So this plate is perfect for the end of the day, middle of the day, or even the beginning of the day. So if we look at each category a little bit more deeply, some examples of starches, since I know you guys are all On Point clients, you know how we count our starches and what they are. So they're all those like grains or pasta. We also have our starchy vegetables. And so all of these things if you do explore the frozen section of the grocery store, they come frozen, right? If you've never had frozen rice before, super easy to prepare. Also in the non-frozen section, I guess the other part of the grocery store, they have those like cups of minute rice that you can just throw in the microwave, and it's super, super easy. I always tell my clients, and I know Zoe says the same thing, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to make it complicated to make it taste good, to make it healthy, and to get all these like 3 major macronutrients into your day. So the other thing too would be canned peas or corn, ideally low in sodium if you can find it. And that's a really easy thing to just mix into whatever it is that you're eating for an added little boost of flavor and fiber and good stuff during the day. And then as far as starch goes, we really can't forget about our beans, which also come in a can, or frozen edamame, which adds a little extra protein. And that comes frozen, deshelled, easy to add onto any dish. And I do want to say, if anyone has a favorite 15-minute or less recipe from the portal, type it in the chat, because I have, when I look at edamame, the first thing that comes to my mind is the edamame salad that we love, and that's like no cook, super easy. So if anyone has ideas for other clients, we will shout them out. So send them in the chat. As far as protein goes, like Zoe said, pre-cooked, right? You could buy pre-cooked hard-boiled eggs. You can also easily make them in bulk. Deli meat, ideally low sodium. Again, also a really easy way to get your protein in pre-cooked. Love me a rotisserie chicken. I mean, before I was married, I was a rotisserie chicken girl. Really easy for like 4 meals, 4 or 5 meals of the week. And you can just like rip it up and put it into a meal, and it's very, very versatile.
Have you put it into like chicken salad too, to like prep for the week?
Yes.
That's like my go-to right now.
Yes, I would. I mean, the worst part is taking the chicken off, but once you have it, you're set. And so rotisserie chicken, definitely a really great option. And then canned tuna or chicken. If anyone has had canned salmon, we also, recommend that too. It's another great option to get those omega-3s in there. And then vegetables, really aiming for easy cooking methods. So whether it is from the freezer, putting it into the microwave, you're good to go there, or an air fryer is also really great. Another thing would be meal prepping, like roasted veggies. You can put them in the oven, roast them all at once, batch cooking, and then you're good for your veggies for the week. Speaking of veggies, someone does have a question about easy vegan vegetarian proteins. We're going to get to that at the end. I do see your question. But we're going to keep going with everything, and we'll get to you.
Make a mental note of it.
Mental note, yes. So yeah, easy ways, again, doesn't mean that it's any less healthy just because it's convenient. Shall I go to the next slide?
You shall. And one thing I wanted to mention too, just when we're on here very quickly, you mentioned like the canned beans and things like that. So some of my clients didn't realize that you could just eat like canned beans right out of the can. We always recommend to rinse them first. It gets some of the salt off, and if you have GI issues, it can really help with that. But you literally could just drain the can and then put it right on your salad, right on your dish, and it's done. Super, super easy. Mm-hmm. So just in case that's not something that you're doing, it's a good thing to add into your routine.
Right, and it cuts out a step if you thought you had to really rinse them or soak them or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
Great.
Perfect.
All right, let's talk about some 15-minute or less meals.
Perfect. So I'm going to walk us through this. And some of these come right from the portal. The ones that are not listed as OPN recipes, we have recipes that are very similar to these. I wanted to keep some of them very general and then some of them more specific so that you guys could get a sense of like how to make them and turn them into your own as well. So all of these meals can be made in 15 minutes or less. They're well balanced. So for us, that means that they have at least 3 different food groups. They're going to keep you full. They're going to keep your energy up. And you're going to just feel really good eating them too. So let's start with the first one. So this is the On Point Nutrition breakfast tacos. So this recipe is located on the portal. It's actually featured this week. So it's one of the spotlight ones if you go onto the portal. So if you've never made this before, this is one of my favorites. So breakfast tacos, and especially ours, they're super simple to throw together, especially when you're in a rush. So essentially, the ingredients that you need require no cooking at all. So if you think about it, you need to start off with a tortilla or two, black beans, which we already talked about. They're going to come right from a can. You can rinse them. They're good to go. Salsa, which will be in a jar. You can even do fresh salsa that you could purchase from the supermarket. Cheese, shredded cheese. Don't cut it up yourself. Already get it shredded. Avocado. This one you'll have to cut, but this is very easy. You can easily just cut it in half, take the avocado out, and then just a scrambled egg. So really the only work that you're doing with these breakfast tacos, if you have all these ingredients, is scrambling the egg. So scrambling on a frying pan, and I've had even some clients like microwave it in a cup as well, because if you're at work and you don't have a frying pan, you don't have a range, the best thing to do. So
I microwave eggs when I'm busy.
I was gonna say, do you know how long it takes you off the top of your head?
Well, I use the egg whites, and so
Okay.
depending on how much I use, 2 minutes,
Perfect.
2 minutes, 30 seconds. It's
So
definitely
gathering your
experiment, but it
ingredients,
works.
microwaving your eggs. I think you can make this actually in like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Not so much 15. And then you could do any variation of this. Like you could do a different protein in here instead of black beans, instead of the eggs. You could add more veggies in. Really, it's very flexible. So that's the first one we recommend. The second one is a loaded pasta. So a lot of times people are afraid of pasta as like a dinner or a lunch, but the only issue is when the meal is all pasta and there's nothing else to it. Because if it's all pasta, you're going to feel very hungry, your blood sugar is going to spike, you're not going to feel so great. So what we recommend is starting with a whole grain pasta or even a plant-based pasta like a chickpea, a lentil, even whatever you have, honestly. If you are someone who has to follow a very low fiber diet, regular pasta is also okay. So you're going to boil the water, cook the pasta. That is the one step you need to do here. And then once that's cooked, what I do is I will just put sauce in the pasta once I drain it, put it back in the pot, add some sauce, and then I'll mix in some spinach, take it right out of the bag, throw it in, and then I will add frozen meatballs that were already cooked, or like shrimp that was already cooked that I just have to thaw out of the freezer. So that's how you can kind of take something so simple, but make sure it has a starch, a protein, and some vegetables in there as well. So.
And side note too, on the vegan proteins, bean-based pastas do count as a half a protein and a starch if you have it in a 1 cup portion, just like beans. So that's another like easy trick on getting that half protein as a vegan or vegetarian.
Yeah, perfect. So that's going to fill you up just by itself too, and then you add in the other components, and then you're really good. So the third one, this is one of my favorite go-tos. It's a quesadilla and then adding like a little something on the side. So in the spirit of not cooking protein, we're going to use Brittany's rotisserie chicken that she loves so much. Make sure it's shredded. And then essentially you're just going to add a bunch of ingredients to a tortilla on like a frying pan. So you're going to lay it down, and then you could put in the rotisserie chicken that's shredded, some cheese. There were some black beans in there. You could top it with shredded lettuce after it's done. And then really from that point on, you just need to grab a bag salad, open it up, make sure you have something else on the side to give yourself a little bit more veggies. You've got like a whole meal right there. So one of my favorites, because you can play around with the protein, you can change the toppings, and then of course just add a side to it. All right. And then moving on, the On Point Nutrition chicken sausage bowl. So also another good one, because you can buy chicken sausage that is fully cooked. So if you shop at Trader Joe's, they have a ton of variations of this, also at Whole Foods.
Or a plant-based sausage.
What was that?
Or a plant-based sausage.
Yes, thank you.
So like
yes.
Soy or Beyond Meat or something like that.
Yes, exactly. So you can start off with that. Typically, you just have to heat it up on a skillet. And then you're going to go for like a brown rice or a quinoa for your starch. You can use one that you microwave that's frozen that we talked about, something that's already in a cup that's pre-portioned that you microwave. And then really the biggest step is your veggies. So if you have fresh vegetables that are already cut, you could saute them for about 10 minutes, add everything together. Or you could have frozen veggies that, again, you're putting in the microwave, you're steaming, or just putting right onto your pan and cooking. So another good one, you could add a can of tomatoes, make it like a little saucy, just use like olive oil for here. You could throw a little pesto on here. So again, you're taking the main components of the meal, adding a sauce, and then your meal's good to go in 15 minutes or less. And then the last one I wanted to mention was a loaded salad. So typically we'll hear like, I can't really eat a salad, that's not filling. Like I'll eat it and I'm hungry 2 seconds later. So the key here is to hit all of the food groups, essentially. If you can hit all of them, that's a huge win. You can hit 5 out of 6, also great. So you start with your veggies. So make sure you have greens, 2-3 cups, variation of greens, different colors. You'll get different nutrients in there. You could do shredded carrots, so something that you don't have to cook. Cherry tomatoes, also something you don't have to cook or cut. Broccoli even, raw broccoli, you just have to cut up and put in there, or even buy it pre-cut. So those are your veggies. You can play around with it. Protein, hard-boiled eggs, get your chickpeas, get your rotisserie chicken, throw your tuna on here, shrimp that's already cooked. So possibilities are really endless. Starches, you could do, again, beans, lentils. If you didn't do them as a protein source, you could do quinoa, you could do rice. Dairy, easy to throw some cheese on there. Fats, you have a variation. You could do hummus, olives, avocado. You could do dressing like an olive oil. And then you could also, this is like the bonus, the hard one to fit in is fruit. So if you have like unsweetened fruit that you put on top of there, unsweetened dried fruit, you hit every single category. So this is a very filling meal that could be used as like a dinner, a lunch, and it should keep you full. So those are my favorite go-tos. That was a mouthful. I'm trying to get through all these. But
Zoe.
yeah, those are my go-tos that I like to do on repeat.
Amazing. So to get back to the vegan, vegetarian protein question, depending on what you do eat, you have eggs, plant-based sausages. You can, of course, do like a bean-based pasta. You can do beans, lentils, edamame, all that good stuff. Hopefully that helps to answer your question. But if not, you let me know and I'll give you more examples. So, okay, moving from meals to snacks. So snacks in 10 minutes or less. Most of the time when we think of a snack, we think of pulling it out of a ready-made box or bag or something like that. But when we're looking at balanced snacks, it's a little bit more involved, right? Like we want to have that nutrient value and that staying power with the fiber and some sort of protein or fat involved. So some examples in this beautiful slide, we can always do like a tuna or chicken salad, dipping it with some like celery or carrots just to get those veggies in, and maybe some whole grain crackers, and everything but the bagel seasoning.
There you go.
What is that? Everything but the bagel seasoning, very clever. And like, you know, it doesn't have to be like a snack the way we look at it. You can look at it more of a mini meal. And especially if you have some gaps within your day, this is a great place to get in like that fruit or dairy serving, or even some extra protein, especially for our vegan vegetarians who tend to eat more half proteins throughout the day. This is a great place to get it in. So a couple other things, if you haven't seen our toast creations, we have fancy toast on the portal. So we have tahini and avocado, we have date and ricotta. We also have just classic banana and peanut butter with a little added twist. You can always do a parfait with yogurt or cottage cheese. That's another great way to get a half a protein in. We have lots of oatmeal recipes, which can definitely be used as a snack. And I see someone raise their hand. If you have a question, you can certainly put it in the chat. I don't know how to answer a raised hand. I'm not that tech savvy, but if you have a question, certainly type it in and I'll take a look at it. But as far as, you know, some of our like breakfast smoothies or banana pancakes, these can all be used as snacks. They don't have to be breakfast. They don't have to be, you know, particularly a snack or whatever. Like you can put them in your day wherever you want them. And so we love a good snack plate at On Point. So looking at, you know, all of the different servings that we kind of recommend as far as a balanced meal or snack plate has the same guidelines. So we're looking for a fruit or a starch, for a carbohydrate, looking for some sort of a protein and a fat. So for example, it might be an apple with a couple rolls of low sodium deli turkey and then some almonds, like something really simple. Then we have lovely smoothies, which if there's time, Zoe is going to demo one of those, but I'm going a little fast because we have 10 minutes left and we have some questions. So air fryer veggies, trail mix, all of these things are on the portal. And then of course wraps, right? Like you can do a deli meat wrap with cheese. You can do any type of whole grain or any type of wrap with hummus or avocado. So yeah, these are some snack ideas. And we have, of course, a reference to our snack list. So for those of you who have access to the portal and haven't seen our snack list yet, it's under resources. So if you click on resources, right at the top, you see your shopping list and you'll have your snack list. So you can see here some examples of snacks, but I always recommend choosing at least 2 things from the snack list and mixing it up. So some sort of a protein with some sort of a veggie, maybe some sort of a dairy with some sort of a starch. And that's how you can kind of ensure that you're getting that staying power from your snacks rather than being hungry, you know, 20 minutes later. So I do see some questions.
I was going to say, we have a few about snacks. So the one is, what about a snack that you could just pop in your mouth? Yeah, that's definitely my kind of snack.
Yes. So when we're looking at like easy snacks, especially if you're working and you need to pop something in your mouth, like any of my like shift workers or, you know, people who work at restaurants or cafes, a lot of our snack bite recipes are perfect. So if you look on the portal and you type in snack bites, I believe, or just bites, you'll find we have like peanut butter bites, we have coffee and chocolate chip bites. So these are really easy to kind of like keep in a bag in your pocket and pop in your mouth. And they'll give you lots of energy throughout the day. Any ideas on that, Zoe?
Yeah, I was going to say those are really great examples. Also, you could do things like, I mean, it takes some preparation ahead of time, but you can make yourself like little egg cups. And that could be a really nice snack. If you take one day to make them and then you pull them out of your fridge throughout the week. And then my favorite combinations are always like yogurt with fruit and like ground flaxseed, or nuts, seeds, a piece of cheese. So it doesn't have to be complex. Honestly, you just need to have a few different food groups that you throw together. But snacks that are ready to grab are always good. Some other things that you'll find on the snack list could be like dried chickpeas or edamame. Those are great ones, or even dried fruit. Bear is a really good brand that has a lot of dried fruit and some veggies without added sugar. Also great things that you could pop in your mouth. So easy, no hassle, just grab type of foods.
Yes. And if you need some like ready to go, like prepackaged snacks, if you check out, and since we're all clients here on the member portal, if you go under offers, we have some great like snacks that are more wholesome and either have like a fruit or fat serving or starch and fat or some sort of a combination. So those are all in the portal. So next question, I guess we're doing Q&A through the end, and that's okay.
Yeah, we're doing it through the end. So the air fryer veggies, right? I think that's the next one.
Yes, and real quick, someone did say if you want to put an egg in the microwave, you have to scramble it first, or else you're going to expect some egg all over your microwave. So thank you for that advice. I wouldn't have honestly known that. So okay, how do you make air fryer veggies, and which are best for this? Great question.
So I'm like leaning over, you could get a glimpse of my air fryer right behind me back there.
Mine's under my stove here. We do have veggie air fryer recipes in the portal under snacks. So some of those are Brussels sprouts, carrot fries, kale chips. I don't know, Zoe, what would you say? Like everything can be air fried and they're all great.
Literally, yeah, anything could be in the air fryer. For veggies, like my go-to, I'm like very I don't want to say lazy, but I'm very aware of my time when it comes to my veggies and
Why do you
cooking.
guys
So
think we're doing this 15-minute webinar? We're the experts on the 15-minute
exactly.
meals and snacks.
Exactly. So I always take frozen like broccoli out of my freezer. I put it in a bowl. I'll like take olive oil spray or coconut oil spray it, season it, and put it right in the air fryer. Literally, that's all I do. And then I'll take it out, usually drizzle some kind of sauce on it, whether it's like soy sauce or like a sprinkle of like Parmesan cheese. But I like to keep it simple. The key with the air fryer is to like keep an eye on it and maybe like open it up and shake it every 5 minutes because it's so powerful that it can burn like that. But think that's the biggest thing to keep in mind. But I mean, you could use zucchini in there, make zucchini chips. Eggplant tastes really good. I've done eggplant parm in the air fryer before. As far as veggies, green beans, really, there's buffalo cauliflower. I've done everything in the air fryer with veggies.
Yes, it's the options are endless. So what other questions we have? We have a couple here. I don't know if we're going to get to all of them, but for the person asking about deli meats, rotisserie chicken, it depends on what your goals are. I can't speak to any specifics, but all foods fit. If there's a specific need that you do have, I would talk to your dietitian and double check as far as that question goes. Next person just has a comment. Yogurt with almond butter is yummy and filling, and I agree.
I also agree.
That.
I love it.
Yes, tastes like a really delicious dessert. Okay, so veggie lovers egg bites that you can buy ready. Oh, the veggie delight. We're talking about ready to buy egg bites. It depends. I think we're talking about the veggie delights. It really depends on what the rest of your day looks like, or if you're watching your sodium in general.
Right.
If the rest of your day isn't too high in sodium, it shouldn't be too much of a worry. But it's all kind of your sodium total in the day. So I wasn't, sorry for everyone who's watching, I wasn't super clear about that question. Someone's asking if it's too high in sodium to buy pre-made egg bites. And my answer is, it depends on what else you're eating in the day.
Yeah. And that's something you can ask the person you're working with directly because they can look at your entire day and give you feedback. It could be a little bit higher in sodium, but because it is a frozen food, but if the rest of your day looks lower in sodium, you could probably make it work. Right. And that would be something they can help you with.
Yes. So this person is my client. So ask me on our next call or message me in the app. I will help you out. So yeah, look at this timing here. If anyone has any last minute questions, we have a minute left. We're going to end like at 5:29. Lest anyone didn't think we were planning on doing a demo, we both have our ingredients next to us just in case.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to show you guys my ingredients, even though I'm not gonna put it in the blender, but just to show you how easy it is. Yeah, so this is a cauliflower berry shake. So I have my frozen berries here, pulled right out of the freezer. This doesn't look so great, but it's rice cauliflower and it's frozen. It's blocks still, but also this handful of spinach. And then I have my almond milk right next to me, unsweetened. And then I have a little bit of flaxseed to throw in, my tablespoon ready to go. And then my protein powder is under there. Sadly, I forgot to pull that out. But honestly, I would just throw all of that in this little bullet, NutriBullet here, and it'd be done. That's it. That's all you need.
Amazing. I'll show mine too.
Okay.
Now that you showed yours. So mine is the demo that I was going to do was the steel cut oatmeal. So normally what I do for even more ease is I use a pre-packaged oatmeal. So this is a little bit more than 1/4 of a cup, which is what the recipe says. So I will add a little bit more almond milk in there, and then I just add banana. We're so proud of our banana yogurt. And I have sunflower butter for the top and then some cinnamon. I can put it in the fridge overnight and the prep takes less than 5 minutes. And I usually add protein powder to my oatmeal, so I get at least a half a protein in there. But yeah, look at us on time, answered all the questions, demoed. What more can we ask for? So if anyone has other questions, you can, of course, ask your dietitian. You can message us through the On Point Instagram page. So if you don't follow us, follow us right now. Take out your phone, onpoint.nutrition. This is where it's at, people. But yeah,
recipes all the time, see what we're doing constantly, so you'll be full of ideas.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.